So like so many people have meetings like, well, Zani, you know, I've done such a good job today and we've really, our revenue's up. Like, dude, shut the fuck up, bro. Because you don't need that. Like, yeah, that a boy, good job. Or you can acknowledge like, hey, it's green. Awesome, bro. Fucking keep killing it, Shane. Next.
I'm doing a lot of, all right, what rooms do I need to get into to fucking intimidate the shit out of me where I'm the smallest fish in the room so I can go learn from these dudes that are just down the path from me. So I'm working on doing a lot of that right now. But in those rooms, I'm not necessarily trying to learn all the tricks and the trade and the hacks and the things people are doing. I want to be around that energy so I can hear some of the things they're doing by osmosis and then come back and get punched in the face by doing it. 'Cause that's how I fucking learn everything. All right, so I'm really stoked for this. I've been checking out Jeremy's stuff everywhere. His YouTube, where he's got a few followers on there, but he's dropping some bombs, some killer content out there that I'm enjoying. So, Jeremy, welcome to the show, brother. The biggest thing that I want to know right now is, as we're growing the business, we got a lot of plans, a lot of strategies in place. Where do people screw up the most when they start thinking about processes, systems, and getting everything dialed in?
Yeah, well, I think you're probably like me and every other entrepreneur out there, right? We have, suffer from a lot of fucking sicknesses. One of them, one of many, is that shiny object syndrome, right?
Oh, God.
And entrepreneurs are the fucking worst because the idea that works and is making money, that just sucks, right?
Yep.
We need to worry about this really cool thing that's probably going to crash and burn, but that's what I want to do, and now go to the next one, next one. So but we still need that, right? And I think our staff and our team need to know that, yeah, let's just put that sicko in the corner and let him go play. But your team, who's actually fucking doing the work and running the business, they need a clear mission, right? And they need a clear plan. So I'm an investor, as you kind of know, in venture capital and whatever, and I get all these business plans and pitches that are 20, 30, 40, 60, 100 pages, and they're all just shit, right?
Yep.
And even they're shit for the entrepreneur too, because they're really never going to fucking do that. They just want to have something that has some substance with a financial model. Like, hey, I put this together like a book report. You should trust me because I'm capable of doing a task. Give me money. But the reality is that's not a good tool at all for running the business. And most business plans don't actually kind of work for that. So,
dude, I fucking love that you said that, man. Seriously, because I mean, I'm in Fort Worth, Texas. And they have the business plan competition. They have all these pitch fest, all these things. I've never written a business plan in my entire life. Now we've sat down, we have strategies, we have lines of effort. So we know when things are going to hit, when things are going to happen. But the idea for me in a business plan is I don't want to try and project that far in the future. Shit moves too fast, with all that kind of stuff. So if it's not a business plan, what the hell should I be doing?
No, absolutely. And I literally wrote a book called Without a Fucking Plan. My editor or my publisher killed the fucking part, but it's without a plan.
I got fucked to focus, so you're good.
So, all right, well, this will be great because I think I'll be able to just unpack a ton of value, and you'll usually be paying me $20,000 for this. So
love it.
Fucking awesome. So first, everyone go to my website, jeremydelk.com. This is what I'm going to give you is a free download. It's called a one-page plan. So from a guy that wrote a book and not having a plan, I sold this from a company I exited actually, and they implemented this thing, one-page business plan, and it's completely just changed every one of my businesses that I work with. So whether I own them, invest in them, or just kind of coach on. So, it's basically, you'll see these 5 different pillars if you kind of go there, and your first is like, what's your mission vision, right? Everyone has that, but don't get on like, hey, to change the world and say the manatees, but like, what do I really want to do? And kind of coring that down into what that is.
But what if I want to save the manatees?
Well, then we kind of go through, are you a 501c3, how you organize? But like everyone has mission vision, but make those just true. And these don't need to be the same fucking mission vision on your website. If they are, that's great, but they don't have to be. But then the next 5 pillars, I'm going to mess them up because I don't know off the top of my head, but you basically got 5 kind of pillars that you look at that are columns, right? And you've got these SDIs, which are, strategic development initiatives. And then you've got these points below. So there are things like, revenue growth, great place to work, innovation, R&D. That's 4. The 5th one, and this gave me, you have to look on the back, but, you've got these 5 different pillars. And then from there,
So you
revenue
got
growth.
financial growth, customer delight, innovation, productivity, and GPTW, whatever the hell that is.
GPTW is a great place to work. Perfect.
Okay,
Thank you for
I pulled it up yet on your site. I wanted to see it.
Yeah, thank you.
Don't worry, I'll help you with your shit.
Yeah, please. Thank you. It'd be reciprocal. We're paying the same money for this. So now the key is, and the idea is to get so it's called a 1-page plan, not the fucking 50-page one, is you do need not necessarily a plan, but a direction where you want to go so everyone's on the same page. So the problem is it's always in your head and my head. Like we know what we want to do.
Yep.
But we fucking don't tell anybody because we just don't. It's all, and then, but we also get pissed off because like, what the fuck, man? Shane's in my studio right now. Why didn't you know this? Well, how would I ever know? Because you never communicate to it. So this is a tool that helps founders and leaders and department heads get on the same page, but communicate to their team, and their team can communicate to their team what the fuck it is that you want. Right. So on revenue growth, we want revenue growth. What the fuck's that mean? So let's say we want to go from, 12 million to 24 million. Well, quick math, that's $12 million a month. I don't think in January, if that's our goal, we're going to start clipping at $1 million, right? We're going to, okay, now it's 2 million a month, right?
Right.
So we're going to have some type of trend. So what is our assumption? What's our assumption to be able to get there, right? Well, we think, Q1, Q3, Q4, Q2 will be flat, right? So that's going to be our growth trajectory. So big pop, figure out what we need to do and really push three and four, whatever the hypothesis is. All right, great. Tag that down to now a monthly number, right? So it's 100, 250, 300, et cetera. That's one piece, right? So that's a financial goal that you're going to put under those 5 buckets under revenue growth, okay? The next one, how are we going to do it, right? And these are now the tactical stuff that we're going to be able to say that we're going to do and deliver on, right? So we're going to, adjust prices, create a new product, which would go into innovation, right? These are things that we're going to be able to do to be able to hit that revenue growth. Maybe it's also revenue growth and profitability, or it could be hiring. We need to hire new people. So how many people do we need? We need 12 more people. We're not going to just hire 12 people. So what's a plan for Q1, Q2, 3, or month 1 through 12? What's that goal for new hires? So you get into 4 or 5 basic things like, hey, for us to get $24 million a year in revenue, we need 8 more people. We need to be doing, on average, $1 million, probably $2 million a month towards the end of the year. So we need a ramp up to that. Where does that revenue come from? So you've got just the kind of the how. You have limited time. People do meetings to fucking meetings now with COVID and Zoom everywhere. Everyone's just doing meeting for meeting.
No
like
shit.
we that's just bullshit. So you need to get your entire team on board with each one of those, and let's just focus on revenue, and then you can see I can make the point, and then you'll see we can go into each column if you like. But on revenue, we have agreed that hey, this is our plan, this is our vision. Great place to work. We're going to have a monthly team dinner outside, and we're going to have a quarterly picnic or whatever it is, just so we have a cool thing. We're going to have a free beer pub or whatever the thing is that you're going to do to make it a cool place, because that's going to help keep morale going, etc. So now you've got that. How do I implement it? The first thing, you need to have an annual meeting. So you should start prepping these meetings, in probably 3 or 4 months. So for 2024, what I would do is come into your firm for the day, and September, October, we're having these conversations of what I want to do on January 1. What do we want to go for 24? So we go through, we meet with each department head, figure out this is what we want to do. And we all collectively kind of get on the same page in November. And then in December, we roll this out to our entire team, the entire team, fucking janitors to fucking, back with everyone on the company now sees this is what we want to do as a company. Then you go and say, how do we implement it? So that's the first thing. So if you do that one step, you've outpaced 80% of the market, because most founders, they don't tell anyone. They tell their COO, the CEO, they tell key people, but those fucking cunts can't fucking articulate the same way you can articulate your whole team. So you have
100%.
You have a town hall meeting with everyone, guys. This is what we want to do, right? This is why we want to do it. And then, with them, what's in it for me, right? What's in it for them? That's kind of the other piece of what you're going to go through. So that's an overarching piece. How you implement it is on this thing called a MAP meeting, right? We do every single month. And MAP stands for a monthly action plan, right? So this is basically going through, and we go through this one-page plan with your team leads, right? And whoever's on your board. So this is like your board meeting, right? This is kind of like your board meeting that you're going through and sitting down with, all the stakeholders. But here you go, man. This is the fucking biggest thing that most meetings, and this is like the biggest time saver of what this one-page plan is, that we have this really crazy complex system. So everyone like get a pen and paper out. It's fucking pretty good. And there's two ways to do it. It could either be, if you're watching video, thumbs up this way or thumbs down. One system. Other system is red, yellow, green. If you've ever driven a car, those would also kind of resonate with you. So you rank these on whoever it is. So if someone is, your sales guy's reporting out on revenue, and then you've got HR reporting out on Great Place to Work, you've identified what you want to do on that monthly basis in November of last year. So when you get to the meeting, you're going to get a printout every month that goes through, and so someone on your staff's going to print out. And if you see greens, there's nothing to fucking talk about. So like, so many people have meetings like, well, Zonnie, I've done such a good job today, and revenue's up. Like, dude, shut the fuck up, bro. Because you don't need that. Like, yeah, that a boy, good job. Or you can acknowledge like, hey, it's green. Awesome, bro. Fucking keep killing it, Shane. Next. Why do I need your time, honey? I need you when you're like, fuck, bro, I don't know. Every cunt's quitting. That's when you need the founder. That's when you need me. Give me the fucking problems. I'm sorry. I'll give you a fucking pat on the ass and like say, yeah, good job, boy. But like, that's not where you need. And that's what so much of our fucking time is doing, is sucking up. Like, we're doing so good. That's fucking great. And then why, if we do so great, what's in it for everybody is, we're big into gain sharing, which is basically profit sharing. Show the team your numbers, man. Like, dude, if you're driving a nice car, like, they know you're making fucking money. It's not a fucking secret. Share the wealth. I'm a big fucking proponent of that, dude. If I'm paying some dude, and I've paid millions, he's a partner and a friend now, I paid $1 million in fucking plus in salaries. You know what? Fucking awesome. I'm making that. I'm doing better than that too. You know what I mean? So like, don't count other people's money. Cause 100% of nothing's fucking nothing every single time. So, and getting people to kind of go through, so, hey, this is what it is. Now, if how much contribution margin you do that, you can kind of work out. But if you can break it down to where the janitor is getting, 2%, something that's meaningful, and they see it, maybe they don't fucking throw away, extra cardboard box that could be reused for shipping. If shipping is in their KPI, you know what I'm saying? Right. It makes people fucking care, right? Because it's now whether they have equity or gain sharing, they now have a stakeholder, and it's their fucking business. Right. So that's the monthly meetings, right? So you save fucking so much of time, and you get down to like, hey, you've got an hour. We don't hear everyone jacking off like, oh, this is so great. And then, okay, well, what's the problem? And then you really need now let's set a meeting to talk about the problem. When you had everyone in the room to solve it, let's just talk about the problems, and that's all you gotta focus on. The yellows are like, okay, are we good? Are we trending up or down? How do we need to get there? Good. And if it's red, like, what are we missing? Are targets off? Is it fixable? How do we put focus? And then just really understanding the conversation, right? So that's a very abridged version of how you go through, but effectively from a macro standpoint, you get everyone on the same page. Then I was talking about shiny objects in a second. So that's your monthly meeting. How do you get the statuses of those monthly meetings? Unfortunately, is with another meeting, but these are like weekly stand-ups, right? So these are kind of, weekly stand-ups that are literally stand-ups, because fucking sitting down, statistically, if you sit down for a meeting, it's going to last twice as long, right? So it's a quick stand-up, not with Donnie. You're not fucking present. Fucking, you're way the fuck away from this shit. But it's with, Larry, Curly, and Mo, your three team leads in sales, HR, and, automation, right? I think you said automation. That's who it is. So now they're looking for their team like, hey, guys, our SDI, Strategic Directive Initiative, is revenue growth, and we're doing these things, and we want to have a price increase and a new product widget and a new launch, like an innovation. Where are we on those? Well, these are the 3 items that we're able to do. This is where we're trending. So now I can talk to that, and on the weekly stand-up, like, okay, that's what we're working towards. Because, in January 1 or March, February 1, March 1, whenever that is, they have to be able to have the content. And as opposed to the other thing, what happens is like they push work off because there's no format to this. And they're like, fuck, bro, I got a board meeting. What's going on? Are we good? Are we got good? Like, what's funny? Like, however, and you can't tell them. And it's not the full information, but now they can actually get information like, oh, I can fix that. So we're talking to their team, and senior leadership is now talking to, and I don't know how many layers you have. Layers aren't the worst thing, but this helps you flatten the org chart too, right? Because everyone's now communicating and everyone has that stake piece on it. And then you're able to go from there. Then that's what you're kind of talking about. Then the last piece you have on this one-page plan, it should be on there. It's called the parking lot. And that's basically where all your fucking ideas go, Donnie. It's like, cool, awesome. That's fucking brilliant. Does it fit on any one of our SDI? Does it fit anywhere on the chart? If it doesn't, it has to go to the parking lot. And that parking lot's basically purgatory. You can fuck with them. You can play around, kind of go through, but you can't take resources. You can't fuck with your team and expect them to kind of, that's your parking lot. Unless it goes, right, one car, parking lot's full. The board is stacked. So you bring a deal down that shit sucked, it didn't work. Okay, cool. You can take that widget out and replace it with a parking lot item, but that keeps you honest without fucking your team, every year. Or every quarter, month, whatever that is. So that's basically how you don't have a plan, from a guy that wrote a book about not having a plan, to being able to just get everyone aligned on where you want to go and getting them buy-in on why we wouldn't do it, because they're actually part of it. It's not your plan. It needs to be the team's plan, because, hey, and it's realistic. That's why you're spending months ahead of time on it. Like, dude, we're not going to hit 24, Donnie. We're not. We're going to hit 19. Fucking let's do, that's good. Okay, let's crush 19 and do 30 next year. Like, how do we know that's the kind of trajectory you want to get on?
Yep.
It's a 2-year horizon. Fucking cool. Then let's make that type of direction. This is the investment that this is what we kind of need to go. This is the key hire that we need to go. Because as you know, like, green lighting a key hire doesn't mean you get the fucking key hire. That's a process, right?
For sure.
And find the right person.
All right. So there's a shit ton to unpack here. Let me dive in. I'm going to start grabbing some shit out of this. So thank you for walking me through it all, because it gave me a ton of ammunition to come at you. And wrap my fucking head around this. And you're a guy like me that once you get fucking on a soapbox, man, you're in. So friggin' couple of things. So make sure I'm tracking what you guys so far. So it's a 1-page plan. You talk about all the different sections of it, rolling out the teams. I love the thumbs up, thumbs down. We're absolutely going to implement that in the company, because sometimes our shit, it turns into a debate because I allow it to happen. Right. Guys, I don't need a fucking debate, guys. This is what we're fucking do. Are we tracking or are we not tracking? So I love that idea. So talk to me a little bit about this monthly action plan. So when you're doing your stand-up meetings leading up to an action plan, in the stand-up meetings, what are you trying to accomplish in those in particular? And what do you need set in place before you do the monthly action plan meeting? If I track that right.
Yeah, no. So in one of those boxes, for instance, right, you're going to have, what your trend line. So in order for you to be able to say thumbs up, thumbs down, whatever, you're going to have some type of trend line that you're going to go through and measuring, right? So yep. I gave the example that you want to go from 12 to 24 million. It's not realistic to say, okay, January, did we do 2 million or not? It's a bunch of negative reds. It is a waste of time, right? Because it's a false negative. So you need to say, well, okay, if that's what we want to achieve, what does that actually look like, right? So it's probably we can get by launching a new product or doing a price increase or doing this new conference that we have, we can probably go from $1 million to $1.3 million, then $1.4 million, then trend it up to be doing 2.5 million. Like that's how your trend is. So then you can break that down as narrow as you want to do. The cleanest way, but that box gets a little full, is to kind of give your projections of where your monthly revenue goals are, right? That's one way to do it. Or you can just say, hey, this is a quarter. So are we on track to do, 3 million, 4 million in Q1? Are we on track to do that or not? Or 4.5 million for Q1, 6 million for Q2. Then you can say, yeah, we are trending in that right direction. Yes or no. The other piece, if it's not completely directly revenue component, it could be, hey, we wanted to roll out a new product or service in Q1. Are we trending on that? So that's when your dev teams are going to say, hey, listen, yeah, right now we're in QA/QC as planned in January. And February, if all bug testing goes through, we should be able to get marketing rolling in February, and then in March roll out. So we are on track for that trending. Or if we're not, we hit a problem. we did a focus group and the product sounds like it's not going to be a great product mix. So we need to go back. Okay, that's fine. So that's something that there's a negative that you can spend some time on. What's going on? What did the focus group have to say? So that gives you something constructive, like we need to have a meeting about this because it's a true business case that's going to affect you really reaching your total goal.
Do you run every one of your meetings this way? I mean, is it always?
Well, I'm only in the board meetings. I'm only in the MAP meetings. Yeah. So okay. Because that's all you want to be because you don't want to be.
Trust me, I don't want to be in shit.
No, but and this why, and they're fucking ironclad, and they should last no more than a fucking hour. You're going through your entire company from finances to HR to fucking events to new products to marketing. You are doing your entire company, and I've had companies with hundreds of employees in fucking 60 minutes. If it's 61, you fucking lost me. So you got to be strict to that. So it has to be concise, and it can't be concise because your people won't know the answers if they don't have the weekly stand-ups, right? And then and then within their team they're kind of going through and chatting and going.
How did you teach your team to do the weekly stand-ups?
So we train. You have to train on the sales system, right? That's why that's what I kind of do, right? You have to go through and it's a concept that's very simple, but you got to kind of go through and explain to them because we're so programmed to have fucking people like us that they want to just dump all the shit that they've done. And you have to and if you treat your people like you love them and like you're fucking loyal to them, you don't need that. And let them know that hey man, you're good with me, bro. Like the fact that I don't give you attention is fucking good. Because if I'm giving you attention, it means you fucking are fucking up, right? The fact that I'm not giving you, so you have to train them like, hey, I don't want you to do this. I want your team to be telling you this stuff, but like, bro, I got you. And me not asking you, me saying thumbs up and skipping you is what you want, right? And that's so anti-human, right? How we are. We want praise. I got Donnie's attention. Give him attention elsewhere, bro. Show up and go a fucking rager with some fucking, Casa Azul and some 1942 at the company thing on a month. Like, give them love there. But the focus of this meeting needs to be how am I on track? And if I'm on track, awesome. What else can we do, guys? How else can I make it fucking rock for you? Like if you have a green, and I've had those meetings, if you have a all green thumbs up, everything's good. Like, how's it going? What else can we do? Is there anything we can focus on and do better? That's great. But it's very rare that happens. There's always a problem. And what you teach them to do is like, hey, this is now the time where HR and sales can actually give some input into marketing and sales guys where it's going to be welcomed because like there's no pointing daggers like, all right, what about this idea? And no ideas are bad. Like just throw it all out there. So it's just changing the culture of how people are typically programmed because it's usually they're coming in to give the boss a report card of like, look at me. And like, that's not what it's about. And then also most of those report cards are bullshit because they're fucking showing you the wrong metric. We got great, no returns. Well, no returns because we had no fucking sales. Like we can make our own metrics that fucking justify ourselves. You know what I'm saying? So it's really about the training pieces and getting like, hey, this is going to make it better for you. It's going to help your team go expectation because like you're going to tell your C-level guys, this is what I want to do. They have to go tell, middle managers or VPs, like this is what it is. And down that value chain, it's really easy to be like, oh, well, fucking Donnie wants this thing. It's a stupid metric. They need to believe like, hey, let's identify if these are dumb metrics that I'm asking for, fuck it. What's the right metrics, right? Like that's what it needs to be about. So it's a whole shift, which is why I said, if we're doing planning and for your January plan, we don't start this shit in December with holidays. Like you're starting this shit in October, right? September, October.
Well, and talking about KPIs, I mean, literally, we're there right now. So we run these peer groups, right? So we have these groups all over North America. We bring these small service-based business owners together and help them work on growing their business together through introductions, collaborations, and all kinds of cool things, right? So we had them tracking KPIs like, okay, cool. How many meetings are you having with first-time decision makers, right? How many referrals and introductions and those type of things are you giving out on a regular basis? And what we found is that KPI for them became a heavy lift. It wasn't giving them value. So we had to go through and flip it. Go, cool. What's the ROI of your time, right? So ROI of coming to the meetings, ROI of spending time with your clients, ROI. And once we flip the metric over to what's the ROI for them, it really changed the dynamic of what they were doing and what they're tracking. And what we found, it actually increased our lifetime value of our clients because one of the biggest ROIs they're tracking is time spent with us,
Right.
Which was a huge thing. And figuring out the right KPIs is a bitch, right? Because there's so many key points that people can look at when you're working with somebody and you're looking at their business. Are there main metrics or KPIs that you're looking at inside of a company? I always look at it as levers. What lever can I turn? What lever can I pull that actually moves a company in the right direction? How do you figure out what the KPIs are, what metrics you should be looking at?
Yeah, so I'm glad you said that. So it's really it's good. The simple question is just you need to get with the stakeholders and get a kind of a group kind of think on that where they all agree to it. But the first is asking them because different companies have way different values, right? Like I love to, even though I've got a couple bucks, even the companies I own and start, I cash starve the fuck out of them because cash starved businesses make better decisions because like I can't hire consultants for consultants. I mean, it's just a lazy way to think business, right? So for me, running lean and getting to profitability, and then I've got a business that's doing 15 million a year. I've not taken $1 from it, right? Because I don't need that money to pay my light bill, and it's going to do that money going back into that business is way more valuable than coming to me, right? It's going to get a better turn.
All right, so this is
that's one of probably 15 companies that I've got. But, so you have the conversation with your client, right? Which sounds like you did. It just sounds like it took you a bit longer. What's important to that client, right? It may not be what my goals are like, hey, let's get to profitability and throw the money back in. It may be, look, it's growth at all cost. And I need to manage that. I've got a runway of at least 9 months before I can close my next funding round, but I want to be hitting 18% month over growth. So I don't give a fuck if it's costing me, 3x to get a CAC, like customer acquisition cost is 3x the purchase price, right? So it's costing me $10,000 to get a $3,000 client. I don't care. I just need you to tell me like, hey, how many more 10,000s do I have to make payroll on my burn before I get my next round? And then if I get shorter than 9 months, that's when I need to pull that lever to go and really amp up and either bring spend down, cut back on growth to go and get that other piece. So it's
I gotta tell you, that's fucking crazy for me because cash flow for me is everything, right? So if I'm sitting on cash, it allows me to make different decisions. We need to invest in tech or anything. It's all there. I'm hearing you say the opposite, is run as lean a ship as freaking possible, which makes sense to me only because if it's fucking lean, right, you're not taking as many dumb, crazy risks financially. You're focusing more on what you need to accomplish in a moment.
Yeah. So, and I think two pieces. So like the one I talked about, the company I've got for 2 years now, that's hitting 15 million, very profitable. We're running that. I'm not taking any money out of that business, but I want it to be profitable so I can put every dollar back into that company to go through and do a $2 million study with Harvard that we just finished and that kind of thing. Right.
Yep.
But I'm saying but now if you look at that business, right, we could have probably hacked to growth. We probably could have hacked to growth and saved ourselves 3 to 6 months.
What do you mean by hacked to growth?
Bought my way there.
Okay.
Right. Bought right. But it would have cost me 5 times and I got there. Right. And then I probably would have, and that's if I would have made the right putts, in which hindsight's 2020. But my only point on cash starving businesses is that it just allows you to be more critical on it, right? Like, hey, I want to go and grow this business. Well, there's 12 conferences, right? If you've done a big Series A, which you look at fucking SPAC land, right? Everything's fucking blown up because it didn't work, right? Because they just got so much cash that they had to deploy it. That's how the sponsors made money. So they just spent money on dumb stuff and it didn't work. You can't always buy it to work, right? As opposed to like, hey, how do I want to use that? Like it's my last week. So I can treat this company or this entity like it doesn't have a safety net, even though secret option number 2, I'm back here, right? So We're never going to not have payroll. We're never going to not have those things. I've got it covered, but I want to act as if we don't and I want management to kind of act like that, like they don't. So they have to go through now. And then why that's important is because, hey, now, like I've seen this, I've really analyzed it. Like, dude, this is what we can do with this. All right. Then that's when Donnie can come through like, well, all right, now you've actually demonstrated to me that you've ran 4 different scenarios and you've really kind of figured out that we can put resources here and it will really work. Well, all right, Donnie, what if I put in $1 million instead of the 100,000 that you're asking? Because if your company had 100,000, and that's what you've done your analysis on, that will work and get us the best ROI. Does adding fire to it, and adding gas, does that accelerate it? And sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. And if it does, that's when you can lever up and throw the dollars in. So it just makes you, so it's a cash starved, and the thing's like, hey, I can't fucking make it. But you know how it is, bro. Like all your businesses haven't worked. I know fucking mine haven't, right?
No, God.
So it's when you're in the back of you're fucking saying like, God, fuck, how am I going to pull this off? That's when the best shit comes, bro. Yeah. Like that's when, like when your back's, at least me, that when your back's against the fucking wall, that's when you're a genius. When you're fucking, it's just all coming in, you get lazy and complacent. And I'm telling you, you just don't make as good decisions. So I try to teach my teams, fucking think like the world's over. Like think like fucking you have no more customers. Like you have to not be negative, but think as if like, you know, nothing's promised. Then you go through, and then when it all comes, you're fucking laughing. But that's just that mentality.
No, I love it because I'm 100% a guy that likes to learn by osmosis, right? So I don't want to be coached because coaching just doesn't seem to work. But if I can hear the idea, I can usually adapt it to our world. And I've found that every time that I've tried to shortcut the process by going through a coaching program, going through a conference and the likes, anytime it comes like almost like a shortcut, I fuck it all up. So if I like the idea of lean for me, just because now I'm forced to go through and fucking learn it, I can get into cool conversations, get in the right rooms with the people. So I'm doing a lot of, all right, what rooms do I need to get into to fucking intimidate the shit out of me where I'm the smallest fish in the room? So I can go learn from these dudes that are just down the path from me. So I'm working on doing a lot of that right now. But in those rooms, I'm not necessarily trying to learn all the tricks and the trade and the hacks and the things people are doing. I want to be around that energy so I can hear some of the things they're doing by osmosis and then come back and get punched in the face by doing it. Cause that's how I fucking learn everything is by going through it. So I just like the idea because running lean forces me to do more of that and really check my circles. So freaking smart, man. You talked about the parking lot. We call it the magical idea fairy. That's what I wrote down on my sheet. I'm like, I got to tell him this because I'm the worst at it. I mean, I didn't turn into an entrepreneur until I was 40 years old, right? Just a blue collar kid. And I didn't even know that was a thing, starting your own businesses. So, but now that I've kind of got this entrepreneur-ish bug, I wouldn't say I'm a full-blown entrepreneur, even though I've started several companies at this point, but freaking having those ideas pop up on a regular basis. So I know you talked a lot about the parking lot for you, and the parking lot's full. Don't add an idea on there. For somebody like me that's got stupid shiny object syndrome, man, I'm telling you, I've got so many ideas coming out my fucking ears on a regular basis, and I overwhelm the team because I'm always stacking more and more shit on them. And even though I feel like they've got permission to tell me this fucking, hey, we got enough. Yep. How do I look at all the things we're doing and go, all right, this is what we're moving forward. This is our actual parking lot.
So because I got a couple of comments on, but so what's exactly the question? How do you? So
yeah, I've got so many ideas running, right? So we got 3 companies that we're functioning off of right now, and inside of there, I've stop creating other businesses because these are running very well, churning and got revenue. But I've got a whole bunch of ideas that I want to implement inside the businesses, but I've got team maxed to fuck out. Yeah.
So, well, good. So first off, spoiler alert. You're never going to stop, right? Like I've said 100 times, like, dude, I told my account, like, if I call you to fucking set up fucking another fucking LLC for me, just fucking tell me to fuck myself. And then he's
I've
like,
had that conversation.
Yeah. And then he's like, Jeremy, okay, Jeremy. And then he'll know what Jeremy. He's like, Jeremy, you told me not to. I'm like, I know I told you not to, bro, but just this one. And then this is it.
This is going to be the one, right? This is a great idea.
So it's fucking never going to stop. But dude, so I would really go through and hit just play back what you just said about your osmosis bit. That's where it's there for, right? And the people that are around you, right? They like that you're fucked up, right? And I think most people like that I'm fucked up, right? They like that we have all these creative ideas, and it's okay, like to vibe with them and go through it and throw it out. So I really think that those MAP meetings are great, and they're even great for the stand up. Like, hey, Donnie came up with this stupid idea. What do you guys think? Even if it's riffing, because yes. the San Pellegrino knockoff, right? That you have off, that's just way too much. It's another landing page. It's another manufacturer. It's a lot of stuff to do. But you might be interested that, hey, Pellegrino, what if we took a different level than instead of Italian water and we did, glacier with whatever it was with fucking, it's sparkling because of, some underground current or whatever fucking niche is. That's your harebrained idea. Having that and throwing it out there with that creative stuff, that's what makes the magic happen, right? So saying that in that meeting, you're like, yeah, no, that's fucking stupid. But you know what? If we took this fucking product that we're fucking working on the roadmap that's in there and we did this flavor to it, like that's where I think is cool. And that's where I've seen him. So having that ever flowing idea to throwing it to shit, because you have to, anyway, it's a release. If you don't do it, you're going to fucking be miserable. So you have to do it. But in saying to it, like, guys, I don't care we do it. And it can stay in the parking lot forever. But what do you think about this? That's when it comes to like, it's really their choice. Because if it's you saying, I want to do this, I want to put resources to it. Like, oh, here's another Donnie dumb idea. But if you go through like, hey, this is what it is, like, let's just throw it out there. But I decided it was a really cool way. If we zigged and everyone else was zagging, what do we think? Like, yeah, no, it's a lot. There's just a lot to do that. But we could take that same concept and apply it to something we're working on or an existing product or service that we have. That's the way to do it. So just like you talk about learning things from osmosis, your idea creation, could be, applicable in something else to your team. I think that's where that's shared, and that's where it's gonna be much more well received. And they're gonna be like, wow, okay. And then it's also now, guess what else becomes, right? It's not just your fucking idea, because they riffed off of like the concept of your fucking new Pellegrino that you won, but now like it's the team's idea.
Right.
To like really go through and well, fuck, now it's our idea. And it's all about making it them, right? And it's got to be the team, because you're fucking worthless. Like after you've done your thing, you need to be that figure out leader, but you fuck more stuff up than you fucking help.
I tell them, guys, don't let me fucking touch it. Don't let me touch
it. Yeah. So that's because, right, that's the lane we are. It's same with me. Like I sell businesses after probably like, 40, 50 million, because like I would just fuck it up. I'm just going to break it because I don't have the kind of patience. I like to do problems, not incrementally scale. So,
that's an interesting thing.
Knowing what you're not good at is a superpower, right? And knowing what you don't like to do is a fucking superpower. Just don't do those things. Hire someone else or outsource. You can do that and focus on what you're really good at and what you like.
Yeah, to that last point, fuck yes. I have learned to get shit off my plate. The backup, one thing you said there was, when you get to businesses, $40 million, $50 million, you want to sell them up. My question is, with this kind of shiny object, is there a KPI, a financial number, something that you're hitting before you will go after one of your other crazy harebrained ideas? Or I mean, so should I look at the three companies and go, okay, when we get here, we'll launch one of these other crazy ass ideas? Or is there some sort of metric or anything you're putting in place there? Or are you just crazy like me and like, fuck it, we're just going to do another one?
Just fucking do it. Yeah. Okay. Because you're not going to be happy. Like, I mean, you got kids?
No, none that I know about.
All right, cool. That's fucking good. I mean, but it's like asking anyone with kids, right? I mean, I always ask that question, like, oh, when did you know that you were just ready? Like, when was the right thing that you knew that now it's the right time to have kids?
Right.
Fucking no one fucking knows. And I've got kids. I don't know if I'm fucking ready for them. Right? I got fucking two more on the way. So like, you don't ever know. So I think you can't look at it that way. You've got to look at it where, hey, I'm doing it. And then also it could be like, hey, fucking funny money, right? Like, hey, I want to do this. I'm making money. And like, who's your, like, I've done it with people on my team. Like, yo, what do you think of this idea? I mean, it's fucking kind of crazy. Like, I'll give you a couple grand. Fucking, you want to do this on the side? You want to throw it like where it's outside of stuff. So you're like, so it's like not even company resource or company time, and you're giving an allocation like, hey, do you like this idea? What do you think? Or doing it outside the business. I think that's what because you need to respect the confines of the business. Because if you don't respect that, why the fuck should they respect it, right? Yeah. So you really do have to be disciplined in that regard.
Yeah, and I have to be careful because sometimes, like my brother's got a company that he does woodworking projects and shit, and they do these craft fairs, and it's fun to go hang out with my brothers to go do these craft fairs and things. But if I allow myself to get involved with their business, my business is hurt because I'm such an energy directed person. Right. That once I get pointed in a direction, I'm like, all right, cool. I know what you need to do here. And then I neglect my own fucking company. So I have to be very cognizant of where I'm directing my energy, my time, and my own personal resources. with all of your different companies, do you have
Mhm.
somebody sitting at the helm of each one of those and running those, or do you have a team and you're playing puppet master is the way I've always called it?
It depends. I mean, all the businesses are in different stages, right? So, yeah, it just really depends. How big is how many employees do you have?
27 right now.
Okay, and they are 27 across three, or
across all three, and they all cross over. They all touch different things, different segments, different sectors.
So are they just like complementary verticals or something?
Yeah.
Or what's the?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Just you'll know when it's kind of right. And then I think that they also like building on that, flattening the org chart, as I call it, right? You can do that with this 1-page plan piece, which is cool. And then the other thing too, you probably haven't got there yet, but another tip that I did, because I just like talking about shit I've done, because like somebody just fucking,
right.
So yeah, theories fucking proposers, but like when you get to a business where for me, I'm the worst with names. I just am, but like but I do try, because I think it's important. I really think it's important to build, like, honestly, and I can talk to, I got billionaire friends to, I can be best friends with guys at a restaurant. Like you had to be, that's a skill in itself, is to be human. But after about 100 employees, like your org just gets it has its own org, right? I had 3 HR people, like fucking, that's 3 headaches. So you never have a problem with HR until you have an HR person. I've obviously found that too. Ever. No HR issues. Fucking HR people. Fucking goddamn, we're fucking awful. But these organizations that you've got team leads and hiring, whatever. So what happens is, right? Because we're probably early days. Like you're making the hires on these first 4 or 5, 10 people, and then they're hiring people, and you don't see them, and you're not part of that process, which is a good thing, by the way.
Right.
For me, when I is in the level of companies, and I would hear some of the problem issues that we're having from these, shipping manager, the warehouse manager, whatever, some of the problems were so fucking stupid. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, how is this not just solved? And it's that's just part of bigger businesses, right? Like you kind of get there. So I've done this thing, and then also you walk into the building, and like they're like, oh wow, that's the boss. That's the owner. Like, dude, I don't.
I get that with my summits and shit from time to time. I'm like, dude, I put my pants on the same way you do, one leg at a fucking time. Right?
I don't think I'm very special, right? So what I did, and then like you go through, and then you're just like, there was like some bitch about the fucking fridge in the break room, and like, get another fucking fridge. Like, how is this? Like, fuck you, who cares? Fucking, like, just go do it. So what I did was like, you know what? Fuck this shit. Like, kids, if I know it got brought to me, it's just solved.
Right.
Done. Like we had literally this happened, 2 days ago. Fucking, there's no hot water in one of our fucking labs. It's fucking, and apparently it's been an issue for like 4 weeks. How the fuck hard is that? I called like a guy that does a bunch of handiwork for 2 seconds. It's done. It was done last night. In like 4 hours, it's fucking solved.
So at what point do people just lose common sense?
No, it's just fucking, people are fucking retarded. I don't know. Like it's people just, again, everyone's got their own lives. Everything goes on, and it just gets lost in the shuffle. So all that I can bitch about humanity, but we're also a pretty cool species too.
Right.
But here's what I did. It's like, fuck this, man. Like, I'm approachable, even though you're approachable, even though I curse a lot. I'm not a small guy. Maybe I'm not always approachable, in their mind. So what I did is I had my IT guys come up, and like nothing super stealth, but I basically said, hey, I want an intranet where it's a landing page that you can't track IP, you can't track anything, and you can go through, and it's got like, department, comment, question, complaint.
Dude, that's fucking brilliant.
Right. That's not even the brilliant part, bro. Fucking give me time. So it's general fucking shipping, it can, it's sales, whatever it is. And the comment could be, whatever. Like, and for me, I did these like, and how do I go through? So I fucking did a Zoom like that I recorded. I had my team fucking print them out, and I just fucking read them like a fucking hot mic. And some of them like, dude, you're fucking bald, right? I mean, not joking, but just some would be like dumb stuff. But it was literally stuff like, oh my God, you never come into work. And how, like, it was kind of like jabby, but I think it was almost like, is he really going to say this? It was like testing me. And I fucking read every single one of them. right? It was 30. The first month was bullshit, right? There was a couple good comments, whatever.
So wait, so you're reading what they submitted, like their pitch
whatever it was. So,
an
example, so it'd be like, hey, listen, there's a problem in the break room, and people are stealing my food, and like I'd like to have like a night shift and a day shift fridge and whatever. So I would read through like, okay, this is their fridge. Okay, cool. As of today, buy 2 fucking fridges. Problem solved. Done. All right, next, we would like to be able to request, and I'm giving like a lot of HR stuff, like, hey, I like to have picnic tables and stuff outside. Like, hey, right now, so the first month or two was like kind of jabs about like whatever generic stuff. But I read them. I read every fucking one. And
you were recording this on Zoom, so they can see.
Because you can't, with 100 people, you can't meet with everybody. You can't do it. And they're not going to tell you. They're also, because it's anonymous, and you don't have to be, but we designed it that if you can say what the fuck you want. Tell me to go fuck myself. You can say whatever you want. And I'm going to say, yeah, so you think, don't you tell me, don't actually you did this, but like, whatever. So you go through that. By month 3, the fucking thing was so valuable. Because no more, like, dude, he's going to fucking read it. So now, because I actually read it, I was now approachable. Even though it was through a different form. Because I was different. I was now approachable. They knew I was going to read it. And they also knew I would take action. And sometimes I wouldn't. Sometimes like, hey, listen, we're doing this. And I know you don't understand it, right? I know you don't understand it. And that's on us. Like, we didn't tell you, but this is now a new division that we're going through. And I think this is going to be a great thing in the company. So it could be like, we're not just saying, yes, what do you want? And like, I'm not fucking the genie, right? I'm not fucking, Will Smith and the fucking Aladdin. But like, if it made sense, I would take action and do it. If it didn't make sense, I would say, I don't agree with this. But the reason I don't is because of this. You let people feel heard, Donnie. It's fucking nuts, man.
That's awesome.
Just let them feel heard. And then the ideas that you come out of that are fucking golden. Because we had people that were fucking line employees that end up becoming managers because the managers were fuck ups. But the managers are just back to the whole point of like, this is why we're so good. You don't know they're a fucking idiot because they fucking shielded in that whole piece. And that fucking line guy never would have had the balls to come up and fucking dodge in his mate ever. Now, motherfucker, I got a forum. Bring it on. Tell me everything. So you got to get through the bullshit and go through. And if they're going to make fun of you for a couple months, fuck it. But I promise you, it's the most valuable thing that you fucking get.
When you set this up, I fucking know. That's worth 40 grand.
I'll give you all the secrets. Right? But I'll tell you that for my business was so good because then you walk in there and then like you don't know, and sometimes they did put their name, but like the way people looked at you, like it was so cool. And I that business, we had a bunch of up and downs, but that staff, that one particular business that way where we did this was. It was so like I had a tribe of fucking people that would have went to fucking war.
Yeah,
like
awesome. Yeah. So did you set it up as I'm assuming you didn't call it a complaint board. What did you call it? How did you position it? So
no, I did. Yeah, I just said, listen, hey guys, we've grown to and I did it. I don't know, Shane, did I do it as I got my.
You did it just as a communication. Really?
No, but how did I announce it? Was it like was it a company-wide stand-up, or did I do it like in a recording? I did a video. Yeah, because like that's the thing. Because we had night shift, day shift. I'm not there all the time, so I think that makes sense. So I do it. And I remember doing one from Moscow, like before fucking all this shit. When we can go to Moscow. This is a few years ago. I did it, and that's what because like I'm sure you. I don't know if I don't actually know your business on it, but like you travel, like Jeremy's in fucking Dubai, and like I fucking party, I fucking have a good time, but I'm also working, so like. I did one of these sessions of them reading shit. This was like they were productive, from my suite in Moscow at 11 o'clock at night. So it humanizes you. Like, hey, like I'm not just I'm actually doing stuff, and I care. I fucking care about you, and that's it. So I think probably the first one would have been a recording Zoom of like, hey guys, I want you guys to come to me. I know I'm not always approachable. I may not even be there when you're there. And I know sometimes you don't want to email and there's everyone's worried about hierarchy and stuff. This company won't be what it can be if we're honest with each other, can have some fun and just so it. So that's what I want to do is a forum that you can't be tracked, no IP. I have no idea what it is. If you want to say who you are and say it's for this department and this is my recommendation, I will, and you want to be acknowledged, I will acknowledge you and celebrate like this is a good idea, a bad idea. And that's eventually what it came out to be. Eventually the anonymity really went away because it became a champion of like ideas. And again, even if they were ideas that we didn't implement, they fucking felt heard. And then because we didn't implement, that's the other thing too. Like sometimes they give the idea to the manager and it just didn't get happen. Oh, no one cares about me. I would fucking explain it because I could explain it because it was one-way communication. Like, hey, great idea. And I don't disagree with it. And that could work in some instances. But for our horizon where we want to go, this is it. And you build a fucking tribe of people that will fucking kill for you, man.
Oh, I fucking love it, dude. That is probably one of the most brilliant things I've heard in a while. So seriously, thank you for that. Last question on that: are you reading those out like every month? So it's like a monthly thing that you're going to do this, or is it a weekly thing?
I mean, when I did it pretty quickly the first time because we got like 20. So, but it worked out to be every month, right?
Okay. Yeah, that's fucking awesome. Dude, we can continue.
And the nice thing is like you don't have to do anything, right? It's like I did it in Moscow at 11 o'clock at night. Like I finished the dinner meeting, came home, came back to the hotel room and had some time. So like, hey, I'm going to have some time tonight. Email my assistant, get these all in one format because I didn't want to go through each page. Like, hey, get them in a format I can go through and I just read them just like this. Read off the screen. Here it is. And it's off the cuff. So it's genuine.
Yep. No, that's rad. I would, with our business model and the way we have our clientele, we're going to roll this out to our clients and allow them to give feedback on some of the things we're doing, which I think it's going to be fun. Yeah. It's going to be fun. Dude, we could freaking rap like this all day long. Thank you for a lot of freaking just badass advice and stuff. How do people find you? How do people get in touch with you? Because you're doing some rad things. And, we're going to continue to make you a little less rough around the edges that you're trying to do. Because you're like me and you can freaking bulldog it up. So how do people get in touch with you? How do they reach out? How do they find you?
Yeah, jeremydelk.com is the website, and then Jeremy S. Delk on all socials. But yeah, man, I commend you. This was a great format. I've done, I don't know, 1 million podcasts, but this was like, I think, because just the way you're approaching, it was fucking brilliant. So kudos to you. It's so good because that's when you go to conferences, and I've been in a lot of these different meetings, hearing the guy, well, I've done all these things, and this is about fuck. Cool. That's like your resume. Tell me where you got fucking punch in the face and like where you got on your back against the wall and how you got out of it, or put some context into it. Like this was what I did. And this, like when you contextualize it, it may not be Apple because it may not be your business, but as you just said, through osmosis or in relatability, there's some synergies there, right? That you can kind of go through. So sick. Great format, man.
Thanks, dude. The feedback we've got since we really went this style is that people are coming in. A number of times people are like, dude, that's a fucking question I was going to ask. Thank you for asking that question, So that's just been really, really cool. Well, brother, thanks for hanging out with me, man. I'm sure we're going to figure out some way to collaborate down the road. Don't know what the fuck that looks like. But it's going to be a good damn time because this whole world runs on collaboration nowadays. It's insane to me. But thanks for hanging out with me, dude. I appreciate the shit out of it.